we know that there are rumors that some of the 60% enriched uranium did get out of Fordo, but 60% uranium is just a bunch of nuclear isotope. It's quite a task to turn that into 95% and then into a viable weapon. So I think that the nuclear program has been pushed back considerably. I also expect, and one even Trump might bite his lip a little bit, that US intelligence in particular is following anything that moved very, very closely.
Let's start with Donald Trump. He's insisted that the Iran's nuclear program has been set back by decades, but there has been a leak from the Pentagon. The Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency apparently says the US attack may have set it back only a few months. Just a few minutes ago, Donald Trump was at a press conference at the NATO summit, and this is what he said.
We hear it was obliteration. It was a virtual obliteration. When you take a look at the ground above, don't forget the flame is all underground. But everything above, if you look at the before and the after picture, everything above is burned black. The trees, everything. There's one building, but that's a building that sunk substantially into the granite, so that the fire goes right over it. I believe it was total obliteration. I believe they didn't have a chance to get anything out because we acted fast. If it would have taken 2 weeks, maybe, but it's very hard to remove that kind of material. Very hard and very dangerous for them to remove it. Plus, they knew we were coming. And if they know we're coming, they're not going to be down there.
So Donald Trump says it was a total obliteration, and he also asked his Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, to give his view.
Well, Mr. President, when you talk to the people who built the bombs, understand what those bombs can do, and deliver those bombs, they landed precisely where they were supposed to, so it was a flawless mission.
Flawless.
Right down where we knew they needed to enter, and given the 30,000 pounds of explosives and capability of those munitions, it was devastation.
Well, we haven't played the clip where Donald Trump accuses the media of being scum. James Coney, this was classic diversion tactics because, of course, he was blaming the media for leaking this. But the fact is, this is the Pentagon's own assessment.
Yeah, and there are other quotes that have come out from this morning which basically have Trump acknowledging that the report, the intelligence report, was basically saying it was inconclusive. The evidence is completely inconclusive. I mean, what Trump's and his advisors seem to be working on is the basis that they know how these huge these mop bombs work, and they are assuming that they have worked correctly, and they have these obviously aerial photographs that we've seen. They'll have obviously seen some closer ones. I think, this is the difficult with intelligence, isn't it? Is that the media rely on the crumbs that we're given and the kind of open source journalism that we can do, and rightly ask questions of governments. Donald Trump doesn't like it very much when anyone seeks to, mainly just ask sensible questions like exactly how bad was this? Because certainly the aerial photographs do look inconclusive. They look like big holes in the ground. They do look like charring, but who knows what really's gone on beneath the ground? I mean, that is for special operations teams to figure out.
Yeah, well, let's talk to somebody who might have some insight. Hamish de Bretton-Gordon was the former commanding officer of the UK's Joint Chemical, Biological, Radiological and Nuclear Regiment. Welcome to the show, Hamish.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You've had a chance to digest some of these news reports about the leaked Pentagon report. Would it be do you think it's more likely that the program's been set back a few months, or do you favour Donald Trump's analysis of total obliteration?
Well, unsurprisingly, as you'd expect, I think it's probably somewhere in between. I mean, if we look at this in the round, and I put myself sort of on the ground or within the Iranian nuclear program, then I would conclude it would be pretty successful. The Israeli Air Force has been preparing the battlefield, as we call it, for some time now. So these sites have been hit quite a few times, even as far back as October last year, when a lot of their air defense was taken out. And the three main sites, Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan, have been hit pretty comprehensively. Also, 11 nuclear scientists have been hit. That is a lot of knowledge to lose. And of course, we don't know what's happening underground. The battle damage assessment, as it's called, will take a long time. I would say that the Israeli and American intelligence on the ground in Iran is unbelievably comprehensive. So when you put all that together, and we know that there are rumors that some of the 60% enriched uranium did get out of Fordo, but 60% of uranium is just a bunch of nuclear isotope. It's quite a task to turn that into 95% and then into a viable weapon. So I think that the nuclear program has been pushed back considerably. I also expect, and one even Trump might bite his lip a little bit, that US intelligence in particular is following anything that moved very, very closely. And things are sort of teed up. So it might not be the complete devastation that President Trump has said, but I would be very surprised if Iran was in any position for some time. But when it comes to negotiations, which Trump is the expert in, and I'm certainly not, I would expect the Ayatollah and the mullahs to suggest that they still have a capability which they can use to negotiate. But I think it's some way away.
Absolutely. And can I just on this enriched uranium point, I mean, Trump had this very colourful analysis saying you can't just remove this enriched uranium like you're taking up the carpet, which rang true to me. I mean, it strikes me as, and you were in charge of a nuclear regiment, that if somebody said to you, could you move the uranium from Aldershot to Scotland, it would be a kind of 6-month plan.
Well, absolutely. I mean, certainly if we were doing it in the UK, it would be a 6-month plan. There would be a heck of a lot of force protection, people protecting it. There would be very solid containers moving it around. But Iran is not the UK. The only thing I would say slightly to counter that, enriched uranium, it doesn't in simple terms, it doesn't really strongly irradiate radiation, and you can blank it off relatively easily because its emitters are blocked by thin bits of steel or lead or whatever. So you could prepare something to move it around in, but again, it is quite easy to trace and monitor. One would expect they'd have contingency plans because President Trump has been saying for some time he was going to hit it, and so have the Israelis, but you would expect this to be a very deliberate and comprehensive operation because ultimately uranium-235 in whatever state it is can be extremely dangerous.
Absolutely. Well, Hamish de Bretton-Gordon, thank you so much for joining us and talking us through the potential impact of the US strike on Iran's nuclear facilities.